moon!
Thank you for joining me. I'm Jack Gamble and I am nobody special. And I'm out here on vacation with my family in the mountains of Pennsylvania. And I was in the pool yesterday with my kids and my niece and nephew, and they were just clambering and climbing all over me. It was a lot of fun. There was 4 of them. And you know, any one of them I could pick them up and chuck them across the pool, and they'd come up out of the water and they'd say, again, again. Next thing I know, I had all 4 of them climbing all over me, and I could barely stand up with the 4 of them on me. And I just remember thinking, this must be what these market makers feel like right now, with millions and millions of apes piling into these trades and crowding out their shorts. And it just really made me think about what I love so much about this ape movement. See, the thing about the apes that's, in my opinion, so great is that they are impossible to nail down. You can't define them. As a matter of fact, if you even try to define what the ape movement is, chances are you're going to end up pissing them off and they're going to be coming after you next. Because the apes aren't just about GME. They're not just about one stock and a squeeze. Sure, they love that squeeze. And they're not just about AMC. And sure, I want to see AMC go to 100,000. And they're not just about precious metals or blackberry or clove. Apes have a laundry list of grievances. And it's not any one thing. And if you try to nail them down and peg them to one thing, they're just going to come at you another way. And that's what these market makers don't seem to understand. They keep trying to look at the apes and, you know, sure, they can call us dumb money and low grade all they want. We get it. We embrace it. It's not about that. It's about this whole big corrupt thing that they've built. You see, we know the market is rigged. You know the market is rigged. You, Citadel. You, bullion banks. And I'm not just talking about the market for one stock. I'm talking about the whole thing. All right? Our currency is rigged to the point where anyone who tries to work hard and save up is punished via inflation. And they just end up sitting there working their butts off and they're barely treading water and they're going nowhere. Meanwhile, the people that are in debt and buying assets with government printed money are making out like a champ. We know you've rigged our currency. We know you've rigged the stock markets. We know there are hundreds of millions of synthetic shares of AMC trading out there. We know that payment for order flow is how you rip us off. That all these free trading platforms have really just been taking their money from us another way by running up those bid-ask spreads and making us overpay for our trades that way. We know. The apes know this. It's not dumb money. It's not a bunch of unsophisticated morons. And you can go on CNBC and you can talk traditional valuations all you want. You're not fooling anybody. You're not even fooling yourselves. You know this isn't about traditional valuations. You're just trying to go on TV and convince us that we're wrong, because that's the only way they can possibly win, is if they talk us out of what we're doing. And so they'll use the financial press and they'll use everything else to try to convince us to stop what we're doing. Everything but covering their own shorts. That they won't do. They won't admit they're wrong and take their losses. They won't admit that they've been caught with their pants down. No, they would rather increase those shorts and then pay for bots or pay for psyops to try to wage some kind of mind games against the apes, to try to sow division within the ranks and convince us to sell too early. It's not going to work. It's not going to work because they've never faced anything like the Ape Army before. And they're trying to define it within the boundaries of their experience. There's never been anything like this. You see, there have been protests, right? There's been the Occupy Wall Street movement before, and there's been the Tea Party movement before. They're opposite sides of the political spectrum, but really they were the same thing. They were protesting the way our money is being manipulated. But all they did was they got up signs, they got a couple of politicians elected. Those politicians ended up being sellouts like all the rest of them, and those movements fizzled out. Not the Ape Army. See, now we're taking their own system and we're beating them over the head with it. And they don't know what to do. Again, those are just my thoughts. Again, anybody who tries to nail down and define the ape movement as this one particular thing is kidding themselves. Because the ape movement is this wide spectrum laundry list of grievances against the people who have been manipulating markets and currencies and government and everything for years. So I'm out here for a couple more days enjoying time with the family. This is what it's all about. This is why we do this, guys. In the meantime, live small and dream big.